This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
I'm Will.
And we are not...
And I'm Nathan.
I'm sorry. We are not Nathan. Nathan is Nathan. We are not recommending the misadventures of Trombone.
No.
Nathan, tell everybody about your channel.
Hi, everybody. My channel's name is NathanSifuGaming, and I post primarily Let's Plays. And every now and then I'll also post videos that are maybe tech-related or maybe an independent game dev vlog. I haven't done one of those in a while. But yeah, I do all kinds of things gaming. And lately I've been on a kick of retro and indie games. That's just what I've been really enjoying lately. So if that's up your alley, come check it out.
Mm-hmm. Definitely go subscribe. YouTube.com/NathanSifuGaming or NathanSifuHD. Boom. Good to go.
Yep.
All right. Nathan's going to go first. What do you want to recommend to the audience?
So a game that I'm really excited for, and I say I'm excited for because it's about to have an expansion actually, is Katana Zero. And Katana Zero is it's a really nice game where it's one of those games where the kills feel really satisfying, and it's very fast-paced, action-oriented.
That looks cool.
And yeah, and it's one of the interesting things about it is that everybody, including you, is one hit to die. So you can kill anything in one hit, but you can also be killed in one hit too. It also has a really interesting story that goes along with it. It's like the story is a lot more in depth than you would expect from a game that looks like this. But yeah, it's extremely fast-paced action. It's tough, but I don't think it's too tough. Unless you select hard mode, then it's pretty hard. Yeah, I absolutely love this game, and they came out recently and they said that the expansion which they're planning on doing for free actually. They said recently that it's 3 times longer than they expected it to be. So we might have potentially a pretty large expansion on its way. I don't know if it'll be like a sequel, but whatever it is, I can't wait for it. But yeah, the slow motion and bullet deflecting is very satisfying.
This looks really cool.
Yeah, what's really satisfying is when you can deflect without slow motion. That's a feat in and of itself.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, can't recommend it enough. You can get it on Steam or the Switch.
And props to IGN for having a reviewer that can play video games. Will, what do you want to recommend to the audience?
All right, so I'm recommending a sequel to a game that I have previously recommended. I'm going to recommend Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So, like Ori and the Blind Forest, it's beautiful, it's emotional, and it's a lot of fun. This game has a lot more emphasis on combat this time. The skill tree is a little bit different. You actually buy upgrades from different characters, and there's different characters throughout the game that you can actually do side missions for now. So there's side quests in the game, which is really cool. It just increases exploration and things. This was a cool mission. You got to fight a giant spider, and then the thing is, what's really cool about this game is that a lot of times,
mine back there.
a lot of times that the enemy that you're fighting or the boss fight, you don't end up killing them, but they end up becoming like your friend, and you understand why they're evil, or maybe they're corrupted, or something like that, or they've had like a rough go at it in life. So it's cool. It's a cool message, and again, I don't want to ruin it, but you'll become friends with the spider.
I don't like spiders.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah, it is beautiful. And the thing is, I don't like platformers.
One of the prettiest games.
But this platformer is awesome. It's so cool.
I've never seen a platformer as pretty as Ori, either of the Ori games.
I'm gonna have to check this out actually.
You definitely check it out. It's on PC and Xbox.
It's available via Game Pass for free, FYI.
And also, yeah, it's for free on Game Pass. Also, the Ori and the Blind Forest is on the Switch.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You're right.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a prequel, sequel?
Yeah, so the first one, there's like one, and this is a sequel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't number these games like they did with most of their other games. There's not like a Halo 1, Halo 2 thing going on here.
No. It technically is an independent studio. It's not owned by Xbox, but they do publish exclusively on Xbox.
Oh,
and
okay.
PC.
Do you have to play the first one in order to get this one?
Um, I kind of, just because you don't know where the owl comes from, but I think
Right.
there might be an intro where they explain. I can't quite remember. It's better just to play the first one first, just because it kind of sets you up for like at a more of emotional story, and
Right.
you're gonna want that emotional story from the first game to understand everything that's happening in the second game.
Makes sense.
Sure. Ori and
Yeah,
the Winter. Yeah, that looks really good.
All right, Nathan, what do you have to recommend
yeah.
again?
The other game I'd like to recommend is Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem. This was a GameCube exclusive. It kind of went through development hell because it was going to be on the Nintendo 64, but then after it kind of exceeded the lifespan of the Nintendo 64, they developed it for the GameCube, and it's a really there just really isn't anything else like this. It's based off kind of Lovecraft horror. That's kind of its inspiration, and so one of the big things that caught me about this game is that every chapter you play as a different character. So you play as this woman who her grandfather has been murdered, and you're going around the mansions trying to find clues. You find these pages to this really old tome, this book, and then when you start to read the chapter, that's when that level begins. And you play.
That's cool.
And yeah, it's really cool. And I guess you can say, little tiny minor spoiler, it doesn't typically end well with whoever you're playing as. Not so much.
I remember it's got some weird camera angles.
Yeah, it's got some pretty interesting camera angles, but I'd say the biggest thing that this game is known for is, see that green meter there? That's the sanity meter. And when your sanity meter is low, you start to hallucinate. So certain things in the game are out of the ordinary. You start to hear things. The sound design is really good in it. Like some of the stuff is like stock sound effects, but some of it is like stuff that's really creepy, and they'll break the fourth wall with some of the hallucinations too.
I love the one scene where it like throws you out of the game and you think the game's like crashed or something, and it's like, what is going on? Because it does. You're right. It breaks the fourth wall with a lot of it. It's just so out there for a game, especially on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they'll simulate the TVs being turned off. The most terrifying one was when they made it look like I was deleting my save files.
Yeah,
you're trying to save the game and your only options are to delete and quit, and it's like what the heck? And yeah, it totally gives the idea. It gives the look that you're deleting the game and you're freaking out the whole time until you realize that it's fake. Yeah,
it makes you literally go insane.
Yeah.
Yep. Is there anything else you want to say about this one? It's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, it might be hard to come by, and it might play a little bit easier on the Nintendo Wii, since that can also play GameCube games. If you can find it, grab it. I highly recommend it.
It's a much more sought after game after the fact. Like, this is a game that was not necessarily very popular when it first came out, but it has hit some pretty high. A lot of collectors want to get it. It's high on the list of a lot of collectors because it's such a fun and different game for the GameCube. In fact, it's probably the most dark game on the GameCube.
Oh yeah, I'd say so. It's
easily
quite a dark game. Yeah, and the company that made it, Silicon Knights, they don't exist anymore.
Somebody recently bought the rights to this, and they might have been THQ Nordic.
We'll see. Yeah, THQ Nordic buys everything.
And they've been doing a good job re-releasing stuff, which is awesome. I love seeing that. I'm going to recommend a game that Will probably expects, but most of you probably wouldn't. So this is a game I picked up last year. I never actually put it in the 3DS and really played it. I mean, I did. I put it in 3DS and downloaded whatever I needed to download initially. But then I just kind of set it down and didn't really touch it because I was like, it's a Persona game. I have the whole collection. I better get this one too. I know it's not really like Persona style, but it's got some of the storyline of the Persona games. This is technically quote unquote Persona canon. Okay, so to me that was kind of important. And I'm going to show you my copy of it. I've got the original boxed copy. Comes with the the cards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Go look at Ambient Unboxing. I unboxed it on that channel. But this game, I wasn't expecting much from it. I was like, oh, it's a labyrinth, dungeon crawler. It's like all of the stuff I don't like about, the stuff that I care less about on Persona games. Like the dungeon crawling can be a little tedious sometimes, and it gets a little boring. This, on the other hand, I was not expecting to enjoy this as much as I do. As you're going through these dungeons, these labyrinths, you're using the stylus to trace on a map what you're like walking through to save the map of what you're going through.
Oh,
it's so different, and I really actually enjoy drawing the maps because it has you put doors on the map, has you put like secret passages on the map. If you don't put them on there, then it's hard to find them again, so you have to like draw it out as you're going. And it has a completion percentage in the top right that says what percentage of the map you've uncovered. It's so interesting, and like I know you can't do this kind of immersive map making on the Switch, so I'm curious how they'll continue the Persona Q and Etrian Odyssey series of games, because they're both Atlas-owned franchises. If you don't know this, Persona Q is essentially a Persona spin-off made in the same way as the Etrian Odyssey games, which are a different series all on their own. It's another Atlas-owned series. But you can kind of get a feel for what this is. See, there's the map. So that's what the map making looks like, and you're supposed to take your stylus and trace around the path you're going across. See how that blue highlight goes on, and then you would trace that path, and that's actually one of the first foes. But essentially, you're going across this labyrinth and you're tracing it out on a map, and that's how you remember where things are. So there's no like map given to you. You are making the map, which I find very engaging and immersive and fun, which I was not expecting to like that. It also brings in a lot of the Persona style magic and like elements. So like a lot of the move sets from the Persona games are present here, and you use like the same magic types and various spells and SP use and HPs. It's all here. So if you like the Persona battling system, it's here. You get 5 people instead of 4, which is cool too. But the dungeon crawling is super awesome. I love it. I'm only through like the first part of this game, but I know I'm gonna finish it now. So definitely, if you skipped over this game like I did, or bought it and skipped over it like I did, go play it, try it, give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. All right, Nathan, back to you again.
Yes, I do have just one more that I'd like to recommend to you, and that is Blasphemous. You can get this.
Who's done a really good Let's Play of this game?
Indie Timmy has done some Let's Play videos of this, and I'm actually in the midst of doing.
I was gonna say who do we know really well that's on this podcast right now doing a Let's Play of Blasphemous here.
Yeah, and I'm in the middle of doing one right now. Yes, and
trying to find number 1 here. Here we go.
Oh yeah, it's an extremely artistic game. Like there's a lot of art and effort that was put into this, and a lot of research as well. Like the helmet that he has. Like there's information you can find out on that, and like what the shape of that is, and where that originates and everything. I've heard this as being described as like a Catholic Castlevania, and like the way everybody talks and the things you read in it sound very biblical. Yeah, and it's really interesting. There's this whole theme around suffering and penance, and it's I've heard it also described as being a 2D Dark Souls, but I think that does it justice, because I think there's so much other artistic value, and the soundtrack is bloody unbelievable. There's so much of that I think it's quite a big departure from Dark Souls, actually. Also, I'll also warn ahead of time that this game is not for the faint of heart. There was actually a couple parts that actually kind of really freaked me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's excellent, and the pixel art cutscenes are really, really cool too. If you just skip ahead like a couple seconds here, you'll probably see it. That might have been too much, but
whoa.
Whoa, okay, that was yeah. So yeah, not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, I see that now.
But
go ahead.
Actually, yeah, that was largely what I had to say about it.
So I just want to comment on that. There's a game that I've heard of that is actually described as the Dark Souls of 2D. It's actually a game called Salt and Sanctuary.
Salt and Sanctuary.
Yes.
Huh.
This is actually described literally as the Dark Souls of 2D side scrollers, and it feels kind of more in line with the art style of Dark Souls, except not right here anyway. Hold on. There's like an open field that I've seen. Here we go, the more dark area. Yeah, this game is what I've heard is described as more of a Dark Soulsy 2D side scroller.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you who won't be playing that then.
Will sucks at that game. No, I'm just
kidding. Oh gosh, I suck so bad. Dark Souls.
Anyways,
that's one of the things I'll say about Blasphemous. It is tough, but it's not nearly as hard as Dark Souls is.
Okay, this game I've heard is tough as nails.
Yeah.
I actually went to pick this up. There's a physical version that was only available through limited run games for the PlayStation Vita, and I missed it by about 10 seconds. I really wanted it
for
a long time. There's quite a few limited run releases that I wanted and didn't get, but for the most part I got most of the limited run releases I wanted. The Vita had a pretty large selection, and they actually have I forgot to say this on the upcoming the episode for the May, later in this year. You ever heard of the game Papers, Please?
Yes.
That game is getting a physical release for the Vita through limited run games. I will
Cool.
probably snap that up. It's actually the last limited run release for the Vita, because the Vita carts are no longer being produced. But yeah. So anyways, I'm not recommending this game. I just wanted to point out this is what I've also heard is the Dark Souls of 2D side scrollers. And to me, this looks way more like the 2D version of Dark Souls than Blasphemous. Blasphemous just looks like a good game.
Yeah, which it is. It's if you're up for something that's a bit challenging and a tad freaky, I'd recommend it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just to finish this off, Nathan, we want to thank you for coming on and bearing with us for these.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's been great to be here.
And if anybody has not already gotten on Nathan's channel and subscribed by Friday, go do that now. Let's get him to 510 subs. I'll be very happy if we can get him to 510 subs on YouTube and get him to 220 on BitChute.
That'd be awesome.
So go check him out. Whoa,
yeah.
Will, Will left.
That's interesting.
I guess you're signing off.
I'll just center myself a little bit.
Guess you're signing us off today, Nathan. What just happened?
That's really weird.
Always, I'm Chris.
Oh, world. And I'm Nathan.
And we will see you. You gotta stay on the next CHRILLCAST. See you guys.